Hello and welcome to Catholic News Roundup. I'm Christine Niles. Today's June 28th, 2025. Here are this week's top stories. In a stunning week of legal victories, the U.S. Supreme Court has issued multiple rulings protecting children and curtailing the power of the courts. In a 6-3 decision Thursday, the High Court held that states can defund Planned Parenthood, upholding a South Carolina law banning taxpayer money from going to the abortion giant. This means that any state Medicaid programs may deny funding to Planned Parenthood for any of its services, not just for abortion.
This is the first time that the states are being allowed to defund Planned Parenthood. It's a big victory, Steve, and we haven't seen this, and we wouldn't have this victory, obviously, without President Trump winning in 2016 and winning again. And so what's happening here is they're freaking out because now Planned Parenthood's taxpayer mountain of funding, which is almost $1 billion annually, is under a threat, not just from the feds and from the national government. We see that Planned Parenthood is defunded in the big, beautiful bill, but now they're at threat of having their money defunded at the state level.
The three liberal justices, Sonia Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Elena Kagan, all dissented. This follows a poll showing 60% of Americans support defunding Planned Parenthood. It also follows on the heels of a New York Times report calling out the abortion giant for its substandard health care. The same three liberal justices also dissented in a ruling Friday curtailing the power of the courts. In Trump v. Casa, the High Court put a stop to district court injunctions that halted Trump's deportations and other actions all over the country. Attorney General Pam Bondi weighed in.
Active liberal judges have used these injunctions to block virtually all of President Trump's policies. To put this in perspective, there are 94 federal judicial districts. 5 of those districts throughout this country held 35 of the nationwide injunctions.
On the same day, the High Court also ruled to protect parental rights over their children. In Mahmoud v. Taylor, the court held that a Maryland school board exposing children to LGBT storybooks must notify parents and allow them to opt their children out. One of the books includes this conversation between a mother and daughter, quote, "Mama gets quiet. I love you, Mama, but I don't want to be you. I want to be Papa. I don't want tomorrow to come because tomorrow I'll look like you. Please help me, Mama. Help me be a boy." The three liberal justices again dissented, insisting that exposing children to such belief systems is essential to democracy. Justice Samuel Alito, a practicing Catholic, tore apart the dissent by lapsed Catholic Justice Sonia Sotomayor, accusing her of blinkered reasoning and airbrushing the record by ignoring the clear agenda in the storybooks. And in yet another major ruling Friday, the Supreme Court held that Texas has the right to protect children from pornography. As to be expected, the three liberal justices dissented, including Ketanji Brown Jackson, the same justice who could not define a woman during her judicial confirmation hearings.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
The meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the law and I decide.
Well,
so I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about.
New horrifying details are emerging of child trafficking under President Joe Biden. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. testified Tuesday that migrant children were being routinely sent to unvetted sponsors.
I've watched horror stories of the same person picking up child after child after child, using different names and different addresses. One of the addresses was a strip club. One of the addresses was a parking lot. One of the addresses was an empty lot that was filled with shipping containers. And this character was getting all these kids. One person got 42 kids to one address.
He went on to say that they are now vetting sponsors through DNA testing, background checks, personal IDs, and income verification. In related news, Florida just completed the biggest child trafficking bust in U.S. history. Attorney General James Uthmeier, a Catholic, announced it on June 23rd.
But we're excited to announce the successful completion of the largest child rescue operation, not just in Florida's history, but in United States history. In a 2-week period, this team, a collective work of many agencies and law enforcement personnel, rescued 60 kids, kids that were in critical danger, many the victims of trafficking, many missing kids.
17 boys and 43 girls were saved. The youngest child was 9 years old. Some of the rescued girls were pregnant. And turning to the Big Apple, is New York City poised to get a Muslim mayor? Zohran Mamdani, a self-described socialist, won the Democratic primary Tuesday night over Andrew Cuomo. Mamdani holds radical leftist views opposing law enforcement and promoting transgenderism. In a now-deleted tweet, he wrote, "We don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need is to defund the NYPD." Mamdani also wants to fund transgender treatments for children.
And one of the things that we've said, beyond saying that we're going to make this a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus workers, beyond saying that we're going to establish an office of LGBTQIA plus affairs, is also that we're going to provide $65 million in funding for gender-affirming care, the same amount of funding that the federal government threatened to pull out from local providers for that kind of work.
Critics are circulating a photo of the Statue of Liberty covered in a burqa, spreading fears of Sharia law. And turning to Europe, Hungary banned an LGBT pride parade, but that didn't stop Europeans from breaking the law and marching. Thousands gathered in Budapest Saturday for the pro-gay march in defiance of Prime Minister Viktor Orban's ban of the parade. It comes days after European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen urged Hungarians to break the law in the name of freedom and equality.
To the LGBTIQ plus community in Hungary and beyond, I will always be your ally. You have every reason to be proud. Europe is stronger and richer because of you. I am on your side, today and every day.
Members of the European Parliament took part, calling it transnational civil disobedience.
And there are many, many representatives here of cities and national parliaments and the European Union. It's so important that we show solidarity with the LGBTQI community in Hungary.
And in some bright news, the number of Catholics who attend the traditional Latin Mass is far higher than originally thought. The latest Pew Research Poll shows 2% of all U.S. Catholics attend the Latin Mass weekly. That's more than 1 million Catholics in America, according to the latest data. Only 28% of all U.S. Catholics attend Mass regularly. It's the first time Pew Research has polled traditional Catholics, explaining in a footnote, quote, "It is possible that the share of Catholics who attend a TLM may have declined in recent years because the TLM is less widely available now than before Traditionis Custodes took effect." Catholics are hopeful Pope Leo will reverse the strictures on the Latin Mass imposed by his predecessor. Just this week, Father Ryan Rojo, vocation director for the Diocese of San Angelo, Texas, announced the Pope had granted his parish a 2-year extension to continue offering the traditional Latin Mass. Meanwhile, Pope Leo continues to intone traditional prayers and blessings in Latin.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum.
Love to see it. That is this week's Catholic News Roundup. Please visit stellamaris.media and sign up to our email list for the latest news and updates. It is totally free. You can support us by liking and sharing this content. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless your week. I'm Christine Niles.